Hey guys, what's up? And as you can see, it's a Saturday morning, but it doesn't feel so bright or sunny today. In fact, if I turn off my lights, it's all dark. It's almost perfect for doing a review of this album, kinda in a way. But anyway, for the sake of the viewers, let's turn on our lights again and do a review of the new Kanye West album, Yay. And also construction noises coming from upstairs. Not upstairs, but more like the floor above us. So yeah, I'm sorry if there are any more construction noises. Right now there are none, but very soon they will return, I'm telling you. So anyway, Kanye West, very famous and influential rapper, Chicago-based rapper, songwriter, meme, Kardashian, and he's just very influential with his music. He had inspired a lot of musical artists in the rap industry nowadays. His career started off really amazingly with The College Dropout, which is easily an instant classic. Late Registration is also pretty damn amazing. Graduation is not as great, but it's still really good. And then the next album, 808s and Heartbreaks, is one of the most important albums in the hip hop industry right now because it has set the path for auto-tune rapping, trap music as well. It's kind of inspired by 808s and Heartbreaks. And then Kanye released MBDTF, which is basically My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Amazing album, easily the best Kanye album. And then after that, his career kind of goes downhill with Yeezus, which is easily the worst Kanye West album. I'm sorry if I have offended anyone, but Yeezus, and then he released The Life of Pablo, which is a very controversial album, but also a very messy album. But it's still packed with, I guess, a few good songs, so it's not terrible, but still, it's kind of underwhelming. And then he released this album, Yay, out of nowhere. He held an album listening party in Wyoming, which is um, is it the most unpopulated state, or is Alaska the most unpopulated state? I don't know. I'm not from the USA. Don't ask me. But anyway, before the release of Yay, he had tweeted a few motivational tweets at first, which is actually kind of cool. His fans can go into his mindset. And it's raining. Are you kidding me? Wow. Anyway, after the bunch of motivational tweets, he started to endorse Trump by wearing MAGA hats and talking about Trump in Twitter, and that sparked a lot of controversy and caused a lot of fans to dislike him. And then after that, wow, he started to do all these controversial and erratic interviews with TMZ and Charlemagne, and in the TMZ interview, he even said that slavery was a choice, which is an extremely, I guess, odd and certainly offensive comment. How is slavery a choice? It doesn't add up, man. It just doesn't add up. But that is a hell of a controversial interview. A lot of celebrities reacted to it very strongly. Like that. And it again, a lot of Kanye fans had turned around and started to dislike Kanye. And before the release of Yay, he also released a couple of non-album tracks, Lift Yourself and Yay versus the People. Both tracks are kinda trash. Lift Yourself, the beat on Lift Yourself is actually okay, but the last verse, scoop diddy poop, whoop de poop de scoop. Yeah, I mean, and then Yay versus the People is even worse because of how cringy it is. Basically, on this track, Kanye West kind of defends himself for supporting Donald Trump, and he is kind of arguing with T.I., who is representing the people, and it's just a cringy track, and I don't like it. But on this album, it's really different, but still context-wise, it's not that different. In fact, it's eerily similar. This album has 7 tracks and it only clocks at 24 minutes long, and it is a follow-up to Pusha-T's Daytona, which is also a collaborative effort with Kanye West in terms of production. And yeah, all the Kanye produced albums this year will be around 20 something minutes long, will be all 7 tracks long. So this is kind of the part 2 out of 5, I think. Pusha T, Kanye, Kitsy Ghost, Nas, Tiana Taylor. I don't know if there are more. What's also pretty surprising about this album is that this album is less ambitious and extravagant, less guests, less features, less samples as well, and the sound quality is more lo-fi, it's a little more minimalistic, it's more simplistic as well, and it's just something you wouldn't expect from a regular Kanye album. It's more simple, raw, unfiltered, intimate, clean, and personal album. At first, it feels a bit underwhelming because, come on, it's just 7 tracks long, and again, the instrumentations are very minimal, but as I dive more into it, the more I like it. The album starts off with I Thought About Killing You, which is pretty self-explanatory of a song title, and it's a really freaky and odd song with the distorted, angelic vocal harmonies in the background, construction noises returning, as I predicted. And at the first half of the song, it's literally spoken word, and it's actually kind of awkward. I thought about killing you. I thought about killing me, but I love myself more than I love you. Premeditated murder. You know, it's kind of awkward. That's all I'm trying to say here.
Get so bright it's no sun. Get so loud I hear none. Scream so loud got no lungs. Hurt so bad I go numb.
But yeah, the second half of the song is a bit better, but it kind of bursts into this euphoric trap beat that I'm not too impressed with, but it's actually not that bad. But still, this trap direction Kanye's going on this track is kind of underwhelming, a little bit underwritten, maybe. And what I also don't like about this track is that it's like Kanye West is trying so hard to be cool and edgy, trying to be suicidal but also a psycho at the same time, and he's trying to make the album cover justified. You know, on the album cover, literally it says, I hate being bipolar, it's awesome. Now, first of all, bipolar disorder means you're constantly switching from depression and mania. Constantly switching from a depressed state to a maniacal state, and it's I guess it kind of links with the context, the content of the track, but having bipolar disorder doesn't necessarily mean you're suicidal, but you're also a psycho at the same time. Okay. Second of all, it's really obvious that Kanye is trying to be cool and edgy, and even if he's not trying and I'm just perceiving it wrongly, it still feels like so. So I don't know what to say. Still a very nice intro though. It's although it's a little awkward, it's a little edgy, but still a lot of thought is put into this track, and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Okay, shut up, please. The second track is Yikes, which tries to be even darker, but it actually works even well. It has a more simple beat, but it also has an amazingly deep and ominous hook, and the flow is killer. I love this track. And this track is basically about a man on his edge.
Tweaking off that 2CB, huh? Is he gonna make it TBD, huh? Thought I was gonna run DMC, huh? I done died and lived again on DMT, huh?
And this track overall is very catchy, and it's really solid. I love the bassy synths and the bobbling bleeps in the middle of the verses, and I just really dig this track. Extremely catchy. She could get, sometimes I scare myself. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. The next track is All Mine, which is a bit of a low point for the album. First of all, the opening vocals are really awkward, kind of embarrassing, and it's kind of weak as well. The falsetto is kind of silly and childish. The flow is kind of falters a little bit. I'm talking about the flow of the album. Kanye's flow, his delivery and performance on this track is still solid, but this kind of hinders the overall flow of the album, of the record, of the LP, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it just has this really generic auto-tune rap beat that I'm not digging, not at all. And the lyrics too, it's kinda dumb. There's literally a line by Kanye saying how he liked tits because he could focus on two things at once. I mean, I like how this track portrays lust and sexual desires, but that line didn't work out for me.
On girls is basic. That's just some yay shit. Right now, let's do what we want.
So I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Believe it or not, 5 to a 6. Okay, I'm gonna be nice. 5 to a 6 out of 10. Well, the next track is "Wouldn't Leave," which bounces back to the personal, lively, and intimate sound, and it's way more lo-fi than the previous 3 tracks. And this track is basically about Kanye dealing with the reaction of his actions, basically his comments on slavery and supporting Donald Trump. And this song is also about Donald Trump, Kanye West calming his wife down because his wife is just freaking out over his actions. You know, his wife Kim Kardashian. You know her. But I'm actually appreciating the direction that Kanye's going on this track, and I love the performance of Party Next Door. Party Next Door is performing a hook that's really catchy and memorable and soulful, and it has this 80s vibe to it that I really dig. And overall, it's a very lively and organic track. The keys are very tasteful, the percussions are very minimal, yet so stable and attractive. I'm giving Wouldn't Leave an 8 out of 10. And then we have No Mistakes. Make no mistake, girl, I still love you. That's very catchy, by the way. That's a hell of a catchy hook. Really well written.
Oh, I got dirt on my name. I got white on my beard. I had debt on my books. It's been a shaky ass year.
And this track also has an amazing old school Kanye style, but at the same time it's rather more lo-fi but also super sweet to the ears. The pianos are very shiny and bright, and the chord progression, it's really golden. Bam, 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 bam. And overall, I'm just loving this track. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. And then the next track is Ghost Town, which I didn't like at first, but the more I listen to it, the more I actually dig it. It features Kid Cudi. You know him, Kid Cudi, who released Speedin' Bullet to Heaven like 4 years ago, and it's easily one of the worst albums of the century. But Kid Cudi's performance on this track is actually not that bad. And so is Party Next Door. In fact, Party Next Door's performance on this track is really amazing. His singing chops are really good, and so is Kanye. You know, Kanye's singing abilities usually is a little bit rough around the edges. It's a little bit flawed. But on this track, Kanye's singing is actually not that bad. He sings this track pretty well, actually.
Someday we gon' set it off. Someday we gon' get this off. Baby, don't you bet it all on that path of fentanyl.
And I also really love the memorable soul sample on this track. It really catches your attention and it really attracts you. The beat is really nostalgic, and I love the sunburnt yet icy guitars that is really blaring and loud and inhesitant. And I also love the emotional tone of the track overall. And towards the last leg of the track, we get a feature from 070 Shake, which is probably a new signee to Good Music, which is the label of this album of Kanye West and Pusha-T. And her verse on this track is kind of interesting because it talks about how she puts her hand on a stove to see if she still bleeds, and if she bleeds, then that means she's free. And it shows how self-destructive a person can be when they're invincible, which is a pretty good topic to talk about. The album ends off with Violent Crimes, which is like Wouldn't Leave. It's very lo-fi, personal, and lively, and instead of focusing on his wife and his actions, Kanye West focused more on his daughters. And again, it shows how Kanye is sometimes overprotecting, but at the same time, Kanye West is really, really caring about his daughters. And I believe there's one line talking about how Kanye West doesn't want his daughters to grow up to become someone like Kim Kardashian, because Kanye West doesn't want his daughters to be sexualized, and that line kind of pissed off Kim Kardashian a little bit, but it just shows how secretly caring Kanye is of a person. The vocals on this track is really gorgeous. The chords are very chilling. It has a really nice gospel vibe to it, and it's not a bad ending, not at all. And I'm just loving this lo-fi, personal, intimate sound that Kanye is getting his hands on. And I'm also giving an 8 to this track. But yeah, overall, it's a surprisingly lo-fi and personal album. It's not like 444 kind of personal, but still, this album overall is not disappointing, not at all. This album is also what kind of splits the Kanye fans in half. The fans who like Kanye West as a person, as an artist, will love this album, but fans who want the grandiose, the ambitious, the extravagant Kanye will not dig this album. But yeah, overall, it's a really good album, for me at least. There are also a lot of flaws on this album, however, such as the album cover. I mean, it's artistic. Admittedly, it's artistic. I get it. And minimalism, it's still a thing. It's still a trend. But as you can see, I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. Like I don't know if Kanye West actually suffers from bipolar disorder, but first of all, it doesn't seem so to me. Second of all, Kanye is basically emphasizing on his proclaimed mental illness on the album cover so that it kind of attracts the listener, and it's kind of cool, it's kind of edgy, and I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. But yeah, the album cover aside, this is still a really nice album. It's not the best album. Again, it's not as layered, as intricate, as I guess effortful. I don't know if that's a word, as effortful or fruitful as some of other Kanye's albums. But I'm also really liking this new direction that Kanye's going, and it's very thought-provoking and deep sometimes. I just wish that this album is longer, because it's just 7 tracks long, and if Kanye West really wants to dive deep into his personal life and his own thoughts, maybe this album should be a little bit longer. But yeah, overall, the album has some really nice, sweet beats. The sampling is also, again, really genius, but as always, Kanye's samples are usually very genius, and the overall flow of the album is pretty good. Not bad. Okay, I'm just waiting for the construction sound to shut up. Alright, whatever. The worst is All Mine, and the best is Yikes. I am giving Kanye West's new album, Yay, a 7 to an 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to Kanye West's Yay? From 1 to 10, how much would you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more. And again, if you're asking, where's the Kids See Ghost review, it's coming up very soon after I review Eminem's Revival.